Alright, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Makakodash, the honors to the apostles and the elders that do with that great millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim who they're pushing this gospel and sincerity and truth. Say shalom to the humble and sincere sisters out there as well. To the brother Kalam from James Shrine Camp. Coming back with another lesson entitled How Art Thou Fallen? Right? And the thou that we're referring to is Esau, Lucifer, that old serpent, the devil, right? The so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, the most wicked thing in the earth, the cancer of this body, right? The thing that contradicts Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the most evil, most sinister people to ever exist. Lawless enemies. Right there, you're gonna come a time where Esau's reign is going to come to an end. The scripture say what? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Right, so it coming a time, and we know that we're in the end because what the prophecy, Esau is the end of the world, and Esau is the one ruling. They are the ones that are in power. Understand? So they're gonna fall. There is an end of this world, of this rulership, of this society. It's gonna come to an end. The so-called white man's rule is going to end, and Israel shall rule in his stead. You understand? Israel's kingdom shall replace his kingdom. Remember the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 3, it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindered. The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing." Right, so when the Lord gives Israel its rest, right, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, will he choose Israel and set them in their own land. Right, so when the Lord gives us this rest, we're going to take up a proverb, a saying against the king of Babylon. We're going to say, how had the oppressor ceased, right? The golden city ceased. Because when we look at America today, and we observe the military might, to some people it would seem as if it's impossible to dethrone America. They are the most technologically advanced. I don't think that they have the most amount of foot soldiers, but when you look at their tactics, you look at their technology, you look at them, their whole unit, the US Army, the US Marines, the Navy, and the Air Force, even the police, the Coast Guards, the SWAT teams, there's a sense of advanced ability to them, but the Lord give them. You understand? No nation, when they really check it, really come up against America and obliterate them. America has been the one doing the obliterating in the Middle East. The little wars with Russia, Japan, Germany, right? And many other wars that they fought, Vietnam. You understand? America has always been the one. America has always been the one to really take control of a war, right? And the scriptures say what was Syrian, the rod of mine anger. It was deliver, as David said, deliver me from them that are too strong for me. David also called the enemies the Lord's sword, right? So when you look at Esau as well, Isaac was the one that blessed him. Isaac is Yahushai. So the power that Esau has was given to him by Yahweh Shem Shai, right? They are very powerful military. We can seek to overthrow Esau right now in this state. No matter what we do, all Israel, even if we outnumber Esau, we could come together with guns and we would still be defeated in a matter of minutes. Esau has nuclear power, atomic bombs. Esau could wipe out continents, right? That's the power that these devils have, given to them by the Heavenly Father. We can't fight them. We can't fight that fire with this fire. We can't fight them with what we have right now. We could only fight them with the blessing that we receive, which is a blessing far beyond anything that a mortal could imagine. Alright? Verse 9, it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even though the chief ones of the earth it has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Right, so this is literally this proverb to where all these nations that Esau thinks himself to be better than all the other heathen nations, right? Esau puts himself at a pinnacle. You look at the citizens of America, the way they speak about the country, the pride that they have in America is not just America, but look at the Edomites over in Russia. Look at their pride as well. Esau is a proud people. Alright, they are proud people. It say that in the scripture says, verse 11, my pomp is brought down to the grave. Because all our pride, all our pomp, all our exaltedness, and our loftiness is gonna be brought down, right? And all the kings, all the nations that they thought themselves to be over, they're gonna be lower than them, right? Even the other nations gonna mock at Esau because they are going to be the scum of our world. They are going to be the lowest form of life in the kingdom of Israel. Alright? Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Now we could clearly see it not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, because we read verse 3, verse 4, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And then we read verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? So who is Lucifer? The king of Babylon. Alright? And who is the Babylon that this is referring to? It's referring to America. Alright, this is referring to America. It's mystery Babylon. Right? This is what it's referring to, which is spiritually called Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? This is the spiritual Egypt, America. You understand? How art thou fallen from heaven? How art thou fallen from that high state? How art thou fallen from a state of rulership? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation? So how art thou brought down to the floor? Right? How art thou brought down to this low state? The same nation that weakened other nations. America has done nothing but decimate other people. Now we know the so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives receive the most of the beatdown, the most of the oppression, but that is not to say these other nations didn't feel Esau's wrath. They did. They really felt it. You understand? They really felt Esau's wrath. They really witnessed his blessing. Right? He weakened the nations. Look at how Japan was after the war. Right? After those bombs that they dropped. You understand? Vietnam. All these places. Look at the Middle East today. Right? Look at certain parts of Africa. Look at all the atrocities that the so-called white man has committed against Israel and against the other nations. And for that he shall pay. For Israel, he's gonna pay. Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of power. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden on the feet. Alright? Because Esau saying he had what? He gonna be like the Most High. That is the reason for the MOTB, to have full control over people, to have full control over this world, over this society. Right? And that word means to be the Most High. To be Yahweh is to be what? Omnipotent, which means all powerful. To be omniscient, which is all knowing. To be omnipresent, which means to be everywhere. And that's what he's trying to achieve. By him implementing the MOTB, he's literally going to be everywhere, and he's going to have full control and power over everything that we do. Right? Be able to tap into your hormones, tap in, chemicals in your brain, tap into your body. Right? See what's wrong with you, see all your diseases, all your sicknesses, every deformity. You understand? Wherever he is on the earth, full control. But say what? Thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So that is in his heart. The scriptures say a man deviseth his way, but the Lord directed his steps. You understand? So a man's heart deviseth his way. That is Esau devising his way on what he wants, but it's the Most High who's gonna direct his steps down to the pit. You understand? He thinking he gonna end up on top, not knowing he just walking down to the pit, down to the bottom. Right? The book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1. It said, come down and sit in the dust, virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And that is America. All these fools want to rush to Babylon. They want to rush to America to live the American dream. America is the best place on the earth to them. The land of the free and the land of the brave, and all these prideful, worthless statements and phrases to describe Babylon. Right? Tender, delicate, United States of America. You ain't gonna be called that no more. You're gonna be called desolate. You understand? It's come and sit where? Come and sit in the dust. Now the dust is a representation of a low state. Right? The dust is the ground. To be on the ground is to be in a low state. You understand? Just as where it was saying they would ascend, no Salakia. When I say how about fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, heaven is what? The skies. The skies, the universe and the kingdom of the Lord, right? So the heavens is way above us. And to be in a heavenly state is to be exalted above what? Others, right? Other nations, other people. So to be in the dust, it would just be the opposite of that, to be lower than everybody else. You understand? So it's not talking about when they say, oh Lucifer, how are thou fallen from heaven? It ain't referring to the spiritual demon Satan in the sky fighting and he get kicked out of heaven. No, it was just referring to the various states, a state of exaltedness and a state of lowliness. The Psalms 137 verse 7. Say, remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it even to the foundations thereof, right? Overthrow it, destroy it. They reveled in our demise. Verse 8, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, who will be destroyed, who is destined to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Right? And how has they served us? How did the white man deal with the black man? How did the white man deal with the Native American man and the Latino man and woman? You don't have to dig too deep to see what they did. Scripture says what? Reward her double as she had rewarded you. Double. Revelation 18, right? Happy, verse 9, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. They would never bring out this in the church. It's too vulgar. Not vulgar, it's too what is the word? Alright, this is too inappropriate. This is inappropriate when it comes to their agenda, their doctrines. God is love. God wouldn't do something like this. The God's people wouldn't think to do something like this, right? The Lord is love. The Lord is merciful. The Lord is forgiving. He wouldn't take babies and dash them against rocks. Right? He wouldn't splatter little ones against stones. And that is where you don't understand Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. Just remember that all demons, including the spiritual demon Satan himself, all bow to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. The darkest things of this earth all bow their heads to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So do not doubt the things that the Most High could cause to come upon Esau and come upon these other nations. Alright? Because it's double in it. What could be double of slavery? What could we do that could possibly be worse than what they did to us? How are we even gonna? What could you possibly do? They did everything and more. Anything that could be thought about in terms of torture, they already did it. So how is it that we're gonna reward them double? And that is when you don't understand the Lord. You understand how different the Lord could be. And everything that happened to them, they deserve it. Book of Revelation 14 verse 8, I'll close off here. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if anyone worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of power, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. In the sun and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Right, so it says what? Babylon is fallen, the great city. That is America. And America is prophesied to fall. And not just America, but all those that joined hand in hand with America, joined hand in hand with the LGBT, joined hand in hand with feminism and atheism and Christianity and Islam and all the various religions, doctrines and philosophies that joined hand in hand with the evil. All the so-called blacks, Hispanics and natives that turned their back on the Heavenly Father and ran to the enemy for help and for want of all things. You are going to die. Those of you that took and are going to take the MOTB, right? Well, it ain't mandatory yet, so I'll rephrase what I said. Those of you that are going to take the MOTB, right? They're gonna sell out. Alright, those of you that worship the image of his beast, that you worship this Roman system, you worship this government, you understand? You worship the deception of Esau, all his various deceptive ways. You worship his gods, his false gods, and all these things, you are going to die alongside him. And with that, hope this was edifying, giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashem Makakodash, Shalom.